NordVPN is becoming more than just a VPN. Threat protection will guard your device against malicious websites, malware, trackers, and intrusive ads, even if you're not connected to a VPN server at the time. Step up your cybersecurity and stay safe.
Introducing the Decent Wallet, secure, unobtrusive, multi-currency wallet that's celebrating the win of Ripple against the SEC by giving XRP away. For each Decent biometric wallet unit purchased, you will get 30 XRP. But you have to move quickly because this is only available for the first 800 units. Use my affiliate link, bit.ly/decentwallet. Purchase a wallet before July the 30th. Once you get your unit, fill in the form before August the 6th, and provided you're one of the first 800 to do this, you will get 30 XRP by August the 9th. Link in the description below. Yeah. Ripple and Bitcoin. Anything you want to say about Ripple and Bitcoin?
I think the Ripple thing is perfect. I think the Ripple thing, I was on with Cedric Youngelman the other night. We never got around to it, right? Because I got filibustering about a whole bunch of other shit for 2.5 hours. I found the Ripple thing is really interesting, though, isn't it? Because she talked out of both sides of her mouth. And it now throws all of, I think I also think the Bitcoiners and there was an article on Zero Hedge I read yesterday and I was like, oh my God, dude, really? Like, Ripple is not something I'm a big fan, right? No, I consider it a central bank coin and all the rest of it. But at the same time, I also realized a while ago that Jay Clayton, on his way out the door with the SEC, and left the poison pill for Gary Gensler to deal with, that it would be the hill on which Gary Gensler, as the SEC chairman, would have to die. Because you knew that it exposed Gensler for who he is, which is that he was never a pro crypto guy. So, because if you continue to push this idea that Ripple is a security, which it's not, let's not fucking kid ourselves. It's not a security any more than Bitcoin is a security or anything else is a security. It maybe have been marketed like a security, but that doesn't make it a security. I'm sorry, I just don't buy that. Like, it's Ripple is, I'm sorry, it's just not. Like, they're really stretching this the Howey test argument to like way beyond all bounds of rationality. And so I think we got exactly the kind of result that you should have expected. Now, in hindsight, I haven't been following it very closely, where she says, well, normal exchange trades they're not a security trade, but Ripple marketing itself to institutional investors about what they're going to do and all of that. It may put the kibosh on pre-sales in the future and all this stuff, which would be actually a very good thing for the crypto space in that respect, like because you are effectively doing an IPO or, whatever. So I think it'll put the kibosh on that, which is actually part of the sketchiest part of crypto. But at the same time, it does open the door for it. Look, you can issue coins all you want and trade them and talk about them amongst yourselves and, let the crypto boiler rooms do their thing and blah, blah, blah. There's nothing we can do about that because it's not the regulation can't handle that, and it actually doesn't leave American crypto regulation in a weird place, even though the Bitcoiners would like to believe that, because it's not. At least that guy that I don't know who wrote the article that Tyler Durden put up on Zero Hedge, but it clearly wasn't Tyler Durden. He does that every once in a while. The Zero Hedge republishes somebody else's work, forgetting to put the byline up. It was clearly written by somebody else, and they can't, either from Bitcoin Magazine or I don't know who it was, but if somebody could figure out where that article actually originated from, it was clearly not a Zero Hedge article original. Okay, because Zero Hedge deals with real financial stuff, not this crap, not legalese. Like these guys are not legal experts. Sorry. So I do find it fascinating that Ripple was eventually going to win on this point, because there was no other way for it not to win, because it would throw the entirety of the space in. If Ripple is declared a security without hesitation, it destroys crypto. And guess what? Wall Street is in on crypto. It would call into question everything. Now, all of a sudden, treasury auctions from foreign central banks are, you know what I mean? Everything is a security, right? And everything should be regulated by the SEC. So the SEC has regulatory power now over the ECB or the BOJ for issuing securities. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, all the currencies in the world, and nonsense. I think about you think about it that way, it's nonsense. So there's a fight for the digital, foundational rail future. Who's going to have the underlying wholesale CBDC of the crypto space to underlie payments? Who's going to control that layer, right? And Ripple is clearly one of those things. Lightning Network is another, and there's other people, other players in the space. You know more about them than I do because you actually follow all this shit. I don't, right? So I just think that, very powerful players want control of the space, and they want the legal framework put in place. And Clayton and Mnuchin, on their way out the door, left the Biden administration and Davos a poison pill that has now been resolved mostly in the right way. And I think I think this is why I go back to this article I read on Zero Hedge. I think the guy saying, well, clearly they have no right to call, they're clearly it passes the Howey test as, for institutional sales, and that's right. But the other side is also going to be overturned. I'm like, no, dude, the other way. I think the other thing is going to happen. The whole argument that these things are securities is going to collapse. But it's going to warn the entire market that you have to be careful about how you go forward from here. And because America cannot be cut off from as a marketplace for cryptocurrencies. Can't.
Yep.
And Ripple is not an offshore dollar market in that respect. It's not meant to be that. It's not meant to be a stable coin. It's, so ultimately the Fed doesn't give a shit about it unless there are backers at the Fed who want their competing thing to, like JP Morgan's coin, whatever they've got built on. I think the JP Morgan's got a coin built on XLM, that on Stellar Lumen, right? That they want to push that forward. And like, there's all this stuff happening in the background, which I don't pay much attention to because I don't really care. Because at the end of the day, the dollar still rules and everything else rules. Like, and will until I no longer matter as a political commentator.
Yep. And it seems to me
prepared by then because I don't give a shit anymore. And
I'm not a fan of Ripple. I have held it in the past. I don't currently. It's very centralized, but to its credit, it's very, very fast and very cheap to transact with. It's incredibly fast. And I think what it does open up the whole space for altcoins, for altcoins to flourish, and not just proof of work currencies like Bitcoin and Monero and Pirate Chain. So it's very, very positive for the entire crypto space.
I think you might see that Ripple winds up being the payment layer that the BIS and M-Trade and all the BRICS wind up using as their platform, and they need to have and because of that, if that's the case, and if I'm, again, just pure speculation, you guys want to rip me apart in the comments on this, you go right ahead and do so because I'm just talking out my ass right now. But if that's the case, right, then the Americans need to leave a back door open so that we have a payment rail in order to keep trade flowing, because clearly one of the things that's been going on with Powell and Diamond and everything is that they are, as much as Davos is trying to erect barriers in trade between the U.S. and China through sanctions policy and war and and diplomatic rows and all this anti-diplomatic behavior, yada yada yada, that's been going on for a long time now. There are other forces trying to keep the lines of communication open so that trade can happen, but it's going to happen under different circumstances and different layers. And if Ripple is the thing that helps grease the wheel of whatever the various SWIFT systems, replacements for SWIFT that are out there, and there's multiple ones running, which I fully expect to have happen because it's just a freaking messaging system. It's not particularly difficult. But if there's one or two of these, underlying payment coins that can facilitate all that, well, then this ruling supports that, to leave the United States in a position to be able to work with them, going forward. Because as Vince pointed out to me the other day, look, dude, the BIS is right in there with whatever the BRICS are trying to build. And you can get worried about that because the BIS is evil. But at the same time, again, the rails, the lines of communication and the payment layers need to exist between East and West. And, Davos is going to die a hard death. The post-Bretton Woods, the last vestiges of the British Empire and the control of the City of London are going to die a hard death. They're not going to go away tomorrow. And we have to just, make our peace with that and realize that all these other systems will show up, and then gradually, flows will move off of the old system and gradually move to the new systems. And that's all that's happening here. And I think this ruling tells you that Ripple is a player in this. So if that's the case, hey, I own a little bit. I speculated on this outcome like 2 years ago. And I actually sat there like 2 weeks ago going, why aren't I buying more Ripple? I've got, I could buy more of this. I've got assets deployed. I got shit I can, and I didn't do it. And so, me and my, 1,100 Ripple, like it's just retarded. Like it was, it's just a token amount of this shit, right? It's not like I own a million Ripple or some shit. I'm going to make, no, I'm going to make $1. I'm going to make like $20, and I'll be like, oh yay! I don't care. When I want to jack money out of the friggin' monetary system is this one. I just go to friggin' AppNext, dude, and I'm just buying gold coins, or I go to Scottsdale Mint and I bought a whole bunch of those Keck silver dollars with Pepe the Frog on them, because like those things were hilarious. I think.
I have bought some Ripple in 2017, and I sold it a little bit later for profit because Ripple wasn't really my thing. But I think it will do well. Anything you want to say about Bitcoin in the little time we got left? I love
the way Bitcoin is trading. I think Bitcoin is setting up just like gold and just like silver and just like the whole commodity space and now the alternative dollar space. I think that Bitcoin is setting up for a move to break above 31. It's being held there. It's being held below 31. Every time it tries to get out of the box, somebody comes in and beats it down a little bit. Fine. Keep accumulating. Buy a little Bitcoin, buy a little this. But Bitcoin is clearly on its way to 40 grand, and it's going to be on its own. And that'll be the next hurdle. And then we'll start talking about the next layer of this. But Bitcoin is clearly under accumulation at 30,000.
Great. Tom, thank you so much. And for anybody who's watching, you do market analysis, great market analysis on Wednesdays and on Sundays for Patreon members, and I'll have the links or tomluongo.me, and people can go and find out and sign up. And thank you also to, they're gone now, but Alex Crane and Alexander Mercuris and Tom, I look forward to seeing you again at some point soon. And everybody, thank you for watching. Comments, questions between now and when I see you next, please keep filling your pockets with freedom. This is Crypto Rich and Crypto Tom signing out. All the best. Bye bye.